And I'm back and I'm live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give y'all my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Besh. I'll say what's up to her.
Happy Sunday. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. And also, while you're subscribing to me, please subscribe to Mrs. Best. Any reviews or recaps I don't cover. Mrs. Best covers shows on her channel as well that I collab with. And also she does shows as well on her own. She does a slew of them. They're all great, scripted and unscripted. She is definitely tackling the field of content creation here on YouTube. And I'm so very proud of her. So you guys make sure you go to her channel and make sure you subscribe because you're going to enjoy yourself. Trust me. I always do. American Born is here. Thank you for being back, AB. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. So, y'all, we got to get into Heart and Hustle Houston. I'm going to say it like this because this is going to be a very short, quick live. And we ain't going to be here that long because what it all boils down to is that Chloe is the common denominator of why the six of y'all can't function. Chloe is a common denominator. Mrs. Best has called it from the beginning. She said it was Chloe.
Yeah, from season 1, I could tell. One thing God gave me is discernment. He didn't give me sense in much other places, but I got discernment. The girl is messy. The girl is messy. Some people, and I feel like it might be because of things that she's gone through, but I also feel like separate from her grief and trauma she's experienced in life, I feel like she's always been this way and probably does not see it. Because she'll do some messy snake stuff, but then also act like she's there for you. Almost like if I push James and he falls on his face and then I help him to heal. Like, I don't like it.
Oh, yeah. Chloe is given very much messy ass beautician that sit in the corner watching everybody. And as soon as you sit in that chair, she ready to gossip about the lady that's 2 booths down on the left.
James says she's Cedric the Entertainer in Barbershop.
I'm trying to tell you, watching everybody sitting there lying, sitting there confusing people, telling different stories. This one said this one, just causing division and just causing all kinds of confusion. But thankfully, and Labrina, I'm not mad at you this time. I'm really not mad at you this time. I'm not. Because y'all know Labrina, for me, recapping this show has not had the best track record with me. Because Labrina is messy, but it takes a messy person to know what another messy person is doing. And she on the side of right now. But y'all know. So we're going to open up the scene where Ashley, Dr. Ashley, I want to make sure I get her title correct. Dr. Ashley is opening up another restaurant. We'll get more in tune to why she's opening up the restaurant, but she is doing tastings and food pairings and everything because, that's what you do when you open a restaurant. You do food pairings and tastings and you invite your friends to make sure they give their feedback and opinions. It's something that everybody should do when opening a restaurant. I don't get how restaurants open and don't do this. I've known several that did this and I'm like, so you didn't do a food tasting and food pairing before you decided to? Okay. From when they tell me in Phoenix, a burger will always sell itself. That is not true. Do not take, if someone gives you that advice, do not take it. It's supposed to, but you're always supposed to test it first. But she has Latoria come over and she also has Labrina stopping by as well. And, Dr. Ashley is still, coming off of the event Ro had, and she's glad that they were able to make some sort of kumbaya moment. Because in this instance, she didn't know where Ro was going. And when she had a conversation with Labrina and Chloe was making it seem like she had this wall up. She ain't trying to get to know nobody. It just was not seeing it. And Ashley picked up on that, but it wasn't. But she said she didn't think it was really that steep. She just thought that Ro was just a little guarded and maybe just would take a little time. But the way Chloe brought it back is that she didn't want to get to know her. She felt some way about her, and that's just what it was. And Dr. Ashley, was saying that, she's glad that she's, getting to know Ro better, and hopefully this will open it up. But she said, you got to watch that Chloe because she's bringing back stories that aren't correct, like when she talks to you. And Labrina takes this moment and she said, Well, we all saw on the screen. Now, I'm gonna get in y'all asses in just a second here, but Labrina tells Victoria, she goes, yeah, just like our situation with the Precious comment. It was actually Chloe who said it, and Latoria is looking confused and like lost, like she, was just shown something that the world's never seen. It's like, are you that confused by that? Like Latoria's telling, like Labrina's telling you, Latoria, that she actually didn't say it. It was actually Chloe, and that information was brought back. And we can't prove that it was Chloe who told Latoria, but a lot of us could put two and two together based on how Chloe moves and says, hey, I'm sure Chloe told you that comment was made and it was meant to be negative. But, Latoria is processing everything, and I'm just looking at her like, oh, you're going to be one of the ones that get left behind and trapped. Because the moment someone tell me somebody bringing back some stuff message, my objective is to start putting together situations and circumstances where I've had conversations with this individual and see if them stories match when you rethink about it. So, you know, she lets them know that she's going to open up this restaurant. She's wanting it to be in line with the other lounge that she does own. So really good scene. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Labrina knocking Chloe's boots off with this whole reveal?
I mean, Labrina's been speaking up for herself. I do think Labrina was trying. I did see her actively trying to like manipulate Ashley to her side, but I don't think Labrina realized that it's very hard to manipulate somebody like Ashley. One, so I was glad to see them interact together. And two, Ashley already figured it out. She already figured it out. I'm happy to learn that Ashley has been doing therapy and all of those things because it lets me know that she'll be able to read these women, not like read them for filth, but just appropriately read them, engage them. But overall, I feel like Labrina understands that sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. And she's doing that with Chloe, fighting messy with messy. But at the same time, she's not fully innocent because, yes, Chloe's the one that made the comment initially, but you carried the joke and then repeated it also. So it's like, y'all both wrong. But Chloe is worse because at least Labrina's owning her part of things. Chloe sat there, knew that she made a comment. And I keep seeing people online like, oh, maybe Chloe just be saying stuff and forgetting. I think she knows what she's doing. She's an event planner. I'm pretty sure she knows what she's doing.
As calculated as that lady is, I don't believe that. Now, I could see if she was just one of them talkers that just be talking and then, word vomit comes out and, she has to diffuse because she done said the wrong shit. I could see if she was that kind of individual, then yes, I would agree with people. But as calculated as Chloe is and the way she likes to be divisive, no. She knows exactly what she's doing. And it's just not working in her favor, which we'll get to in the end. So the next thing we have from there is we have Manira. So Manira is having her dad over for dinner with her husband and little girls, cute little girls. They really were all of them. She is a little irritated because her mom has decided to sit this dinner out as she explained to her in the episode previously. She don't want to be in front of her daddy. She don't want to be involved. She don't want to sit at the table. She don't want to break bread. She don't want any of that. She done told her, I don't want to see your daddy. It's too much. But I think in Manira's mind, she thought that maybe her mom would come around because maybe some time has passed. But her mama said, she said, I'm going to go get my mom. And so she goes in there in the room. And the mama said, look, I don't want to go up in there. I'm going to stay right in my room. Y'all have a good time. I don't want to do it. And so Manira gets irritated and, is on the verge of frustration and tears. Her husband, Norm, she says, is not making the situation better because he actually likes that her mom is not going to be there. That's key because I feel like that's going to come up later sometime. I don't know, this season or next, but I feel like that's going to come up later. But she's really irritated with him. But the dad makes it there. He's interacting with the grandbabies and everything. And they, are at dinner. Her husband prays and he says this very odd, I didn't even think it was a prayer. I just thought he was giving a speech or something. I didn't know that was a prayer, but okay. Manira gets irritated with that. And, they're talking about, the grandmother, why she's not there. The kids saying, oh, yeah, she's just mad. She's irritated. She does this often. And Manira is getting more and more pissed. And the dinner becomes now an awkward space. And Manira just says she wished that her children can experience both of their grandparents, both her mother and father, in the same presence, having family dinners, having this experience that she did not experience because she was raised by her grandparents. So she, wants her children to have almost a similar experience to what she had. But Manira, that's not the dynamic. That's not real life. Your parents do not like each other. It happens. It's unfortunate, but you're going to have to take your loss on this one. This is not something that looks like it will ever be rectified. I don't foresee it in the foreseeable future that your mom and dad will ever break bread. Whatever happened in that relationship or whatever it was definitely caused a lot of trauma where they don't want to deal with each other. More so on the mom's part, she don't want to deal with your daddy. You just got to take your loss. Some things are not meant to be mended. I hate that for you. I do. But you just got to take your loss on this one. Mrs. Best, how do you feel about that dinner?
Listen, if your parents want to get along, they want to get along. If they don't, they don't. My parents did not get along when I got married. I got sick of them Negroes. I eloped. Nobody could come. How about that? So Manira, you cannot force people to get along who do not want to get along. I also think as a mother, her mom may feel some type of a way because your mom had to raise you on her own and start all over. That's trauma, significant trauma. And I get that she's always a child and she just wants to have like the peace, the grandkids. But listen, my grandmother and grandfather could not stand each other. I never saw them together in the same place. Never did. My grandmother was from New Orleans. She was irritated. She had to come to Oakland. All this other stuff. She did not like my grandpa. When I finally did see them together when he was passing away a couple years back, I understood why I never saw them in the same room and why my parents never forced it. They do not get along. When I say she threatened that man on his deathbed and I had to hold my granny back, they don't get along. Let it go, Manira. Your kids can experience and enjoy both grandparents without them being up under each other. They can. It's an absolute fact. Like, it's just a thing. Like, at this point, come on, Black people. We unfortunately have a lot of dysfunction that be happening in families. Every family has that, but you can't just force it to be. And if you are going to try and do that, maybe try off camera, Miss Manira. And I bet you then things can be, you'll probably make a lot more progress because they'll probably be more comfortable to be themselves. You're doing all of this on camera. And lastly, who the hell gets mad at a prayer? Girl, it didn't sound like a prayer, but who gets mad?
It didn't sound like a prayer. When she said prayer, I said, wait, I missed that.
But either way, somebody said positive words and that irritated you. So that showed me how she can be when she's upset. And then looking at her mom, it sounds like the apple did not fall too far from the tree at all. But do it off camera. Like, I appreciate her being open, but this felt like something that national television did not need. Do it off camera.
The problem with Manira also, she's very passive aggressive. And I just feel like, to me, it just, in this type of situation, this is one of those times you cannot be passive aggressive. You just cannot. It's not going to go your way and you just need to accept it. But yeah, I didn't like the scene at all. I think Manira is, I don't know what she's projecting. I don't know if this is the hurt little girl that just didn't have her mother and father married and white picket fence storyline. I don't know what it is, but it's very odd. And I just feel like, to me, I get it. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do. It's beyond you. It's beyond you. Like, let it go. AB said, warming up to Ashley. Me too. Slightly. She's not bad. She just, to me, I don't know if I would necessarily replace her with Elena just yet. I might have to see more of her because I feel like we got a full season of Elena and a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily say drama, but we got a lot with Elena first season that we ain't getting next season. And she's supposed to reappear next episode. So hopefully I'm not irritated with her by then. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Ashley just yet. I'm still warming up to her. Ro again was the MVP of this episode. Yes, she was. She's the MVP of the whole episode. I actually understand her more than anybody else. And once again, it's because my best friend is just like her. Same exterior, same like personality traits.
Yes. Bro is a Libra, right?
Gemini
and Libra are supposed to be similar.
Yep.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
He seems nicer than me, though. I'm not that nice.
I think y'all one and the same. Hello, Jewel. Thank you for being with her. Greetings, everyone. I cannot wait until the reunion when Carlos runs the playback and we see the closed caption. It was Labrina. Jewel, this is not Carlos King's show. This one is completely separate from him, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is Carlos's show. And I don't know if they're going to have a reunion. I would like them to have one, please, and thank you. Ro, I know you're the only one who watches me that has publicly commented on my channel. I don't know if any of the other ladies watch me, but are y'all going to have a reunion? Please let the people know so I can put it on the screen or let people see your comment. Let me know if you're having a reunion because y'all need one. We need a lot of clarity because we're confused on a lot of this shit. Let me see here. Keywan said, make sure y'all like the lives. Thank you, Fran. Make sure y'all subscribe to my girl Keywan as well. Her information is in my description box. Or if y'all live, y'all can just click on her very pretty picture and subscribe to her channel. And be sure to tell her James sent you. Jewel said Manira's dad and Farmer Mac Daddy Player's presence could have triggered her mother's medical condition. Just leave it as it is. Yeah. I mean, as I said, we don't know what happened in that relationship. We don't know what transpired. Manira didn't say anything. The mama didn't classify anything. She just said that just keep the silverware away from me when it comes to him and you putting him in my face. That's all she said. So when someone says remove the silverware from the table, if you're going to put that person next to me, that means that something very traumatic has happened. Because that's very different than saying, okay, well, you keep him in one side of the room, I'll go in the other one. I just don't want to be in their presence. But when you say remove the silverware, yeah, that means something deeper happened. Manira is definitely putting up a front. She is. And that's what I don't like. I feel like she's too passive aggressive for me. Like, and I forgot about her. You know, a lot of these women were very forgettable. She was one of them. I forgot how passive aggressive she was first season. And now I'm reminded of why I didn't really see it for her first season. Because she was very passive aggressive. Let's see what else we got. We leave Marinera scene. Okay. So we go over to Dr. Ashley's house. Love the lime green Lamborghini, by the way, Dr. Ashley. That was smooth. We meet her husband, Brad. Brad owns his own production company, and he's gone a lot of the time. Dr. Ashley's counseling sessions with patients is only Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I believe that's what she said. It's 3 days out of the week. And on the other timeline, she has her lounge where she fully manages, and she has her kids, of course. And you know, a lot going on. So she's home alone. He's gone a lot. So they're opening up this restaurant because the deal is that he would actually not necessarily give up his production company, but stop taking on fewer projects so he could be there to help her manage the business. And they're going over everything, numbers. And she asked him, you know, how he feels about that. And he's like, you know, I'm not going to give up my job, but I'm definitely going to help you, you know, and this was my agreement and this is what it will be. You know, I think that they're, from what we see in this very short clip of them discussing business, discussing their lives, and Ashley giving us her background, they seem like a very sweet couple. I do like them. I do think they look great together, very complimentary of each other. And it was nice to get to know her. They really didn't go into a grave detail of their lives, but we got enough so far. Mrs. Best, how did you like Brad, her husband, their dynamic, and how do you feel about their day-to-day business acumens with their businesses of what they have?
Who is this for? Ashley?
Ashley and her husband, Brad, yeah.
They were cool. I don't have any complaints. Ashley, I didn't like her at first. Now I don't mind her. I don't have no problem with Ashley right now. So she's gotten a clean slate from me. I think it's relatable. It's hard to be a spouse and to go to school. I am doing that right now. It's hard. It's so hard. But she definitely aligns with the cast, and what they are looking for, I really don't have nothing negative to say about them. I enjoyed them.
So we've seen their dynamic before on other adjacent on network TV shows with them having two separate businesses and everything. Do you think at any point that they will clash opening up this new business? Or do you foresee that happening? Because we've seen this where people opening up new restaurants and stuff. So do you think this is a something that could backfire?
No. Here's the thing. They're opening up a restaurant because it's something they enjoy doing as a couple. So that tells me the idea as a whole is rooted in love. I'm also one of those people who believes in a marriage. If you have a strong foundation, you can really get through anything. That's why you got to be careful who you marry and not just rush into it. Because if you have a solid foundation, then even when things get tough, you can still navigate it together. The fact that it's an idea that comes from both of them, they both seem to equally care. They both seem to equally be contributing. I'm hoping that will translate to if something goes wrong, them equally like taking the blame or working together to solve it. I know that that's likely too perfect, but they also both have careers they can fall back on.
Yes.
She has a master's in clinical counseling and is licensed as a therapist in Texas, California, I believe Colorado, and like a small handful of other states have some of the most rigorous requirements to get licensed and pay the best. So she has that to fall back on. In addition to that, she just got her doctorate. So she also has that to fall back on. And then he has his separate career. So, I mean, for other couples, it may be difficult, but if you have a strong enough foundation, they should be okay. It seems like the biggest thing is just going to be her wanting to like find herself again outside of being like a mom and a wife. But
Yeah, definitely. I to me, this is what on Love and Marriage Detroit, this is what Anthony and Dr. Minnie Mouse was supposed to give, is this energy here. But they didn't. Did see what happens when you get people who got legitimate shit? You see how it just translates better than people that be perpetrating? Yeah. I said what I said. Y'all know I don't see it for Dr. Minnie Mouse and Anthony on Love and Marriage Detroit. Like Candace threatening Ashley with that knife. That scene lives rent free in my head. It really does. Dr. Jim Bunny, thank you for being here. That's my friend, y'all. Say what's up to her. Just left for brunch from a meeting with my friends from college who lives in Charlotte. Oh, you're in town? Girl, you better call me. Ro and her ex appear to be getting along and working well to improve their co-parenting. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that scene actually. Thank you, Jill, for actually bringing that up because I can now move on to that. Yeah, so they Ro and her father's child, they were talking about meeting up so that way they can get on the same page with parenting their daughter because they both do it differently. As far as parenting, and since the daughter is with Ro majority of the time, there have been some conversations and situations that have happened with the father that Ro didn't necessarily agree with. And, so they're trying to take a step because the daughter does need her father and he needs to be actively present in her life. Now, from my understanding, he does not live in Houston. At least that's what they said last episode. So I don't know if this means he's going to come down there more or if he actually got a place there. I don't know, and forgive me if they did say it. Forgive me if they said it in the scene. I just don't recall them saying if he's actually going to be down there more. But I do think he needs to make more of an effort to be there with his daughter more. But they were talking about their parenting techniques, correcting her behavior when it's inappropriate, and things of that sort. And you could tell Ro really was not trying to be hands on and like just completely overstep and correct him when something has happened. But that's a tricky situation. I'm gonna say it like this: parenting in two different households has always been tricky. I am a product of divorced parents. My mother definitely parents differently than my father. Like they are completely two different people. Like my mom was the one that whipped ass. My dad was more into talking it out, correcting the behavior mentally. So they were totally two different people. So, it is hard, but I think that they have a good foundation and they seem to have really good chemistry. Ro and the baby's father. I could see how that relationship happened. I don't know why it ended. Like, I know she said it, but I don't know. I just think I saw a little chemistry there. It was a little bit more apparent face to face with them than it was over that, Zoom call or FaceTime call, because that was a little weird. This didn't seem as weird. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Rose meeting with the child's father and then parenting her and everything? How did you feel that scene went?
It was cool. I mean, I don't know, something about him rubbed me a little wrong, I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I actually sensed less chemistry with them in person than over the phone. But yeah, I don't really have too much to add. I'm just glad to see that he's willing to come out there to participate in co-parenting because I think they said her daughter or something is having some trouble in school, something with the attitude. It's nice to see that he's willing and able to hop on a plane and do the co-parenting thing when necessary. So if anything, the scene shows they both obviously care about their daughter a lot, which is good. Because I feel like we always see very extremely toxic co-parenting relationships. So at least he showed up. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He did show up. He did what he said he was going to do. Can't be mad at him. So moving on from that scene, we have a scene with Ro, Chloe, and also Latoria. They're meeting up and, they're talking about, just some random conversations of marriage. Do you think everybody in the group is happily married? Lots of things like that. And I feel like this is going to also be something that is a plug of going to come up again later on in this season. At least that's what my spidey senses is telling me. But Latoria brings up the conversation that she had with Ashley and Labrina, and saying that it was brought to her attention that actually Chloe made the precious comment, not Labrina. Now Chloe is like, wait, what? What? I didn't know such thing. It was Labrina who made the comment. And so this is where I'm about to get into Owen's ass, because they keep saying Chloe's version and Labrina's version. And collectively, what both versions have in common is that they have a particular moment where each person is making a comment precious. Chloe's version, you have what we've seen, which is Labrina said, "Oh, she's precious. That's precious," using it as an adjective to describe the emotion, not so much her appearance. And then you have Chloe saying the actress's name, saying, "Yeah, the actress," implying that that is precious. So I'm gonna get into Owen's ass because Owen, we don't need y'all to confuse us any more than you actually are doing. Because on one instance, it's passing the bark between Labrina and Chloe of who said what and who made the comment first and what they were referring to. And all this, you're confusing us. This is ridiculous and stupid. I want y'all to play it from beginning to end since you didn't air it. So that way we, the fans of the show and the people who recap it, can make a very clear and concise decision on who said what. Now, my money is still on Chloe because we saw her say it in the scene, and the way that it was edited, it seemed like she initiated or at least picked up on a conversation. But we have not seen Labrina say it, which is Labrina is the person who's taken the fall for this. So I need more clear context, and y'all stop confusing us, because I was highly confused. I didn't know what to make of it.
It did show a clip of Labrina making a precious comment as well. That's why I said earlier, Labrina, it looks like Chloe started it and initially introduced it and said it first. And it looks like then after she said it, Labrina also said it.
Yeah.
They're both guilty.
They're both wrong.
I want to see the lady they talking about at this point.
Me
I ain't
too.
shit.
Yeah, like I need to see. I want to see her as well, but then also because I do agree they both are wrong for implying anything. But the problem that I have is I don't want Labrina to be the only person taking the fall. Is my point. If Chloe did in fact participate and also said her own slight comment, that's how I feel about this whole situation. I feel like Owen is trying to confuse the viewers and make it one person's fault when collectively it is Manira too, because apparently Manera was the one who started it. But we'll get to her in just a second. But I want all three of them to be held accountable, and I want Latoria to stop putting the brunt on just one person just because the other is a closer friend to you. That's my point. So I that scene annoyed me because I feel like Chloe's gonna skate away, which we saw she do from the responsibility of it, and it annoyed me. But we'll talk about that more in depth in just a second here. So you kind of mentioned that, what we already said that they both said and they both were wrong. Was there anything else you wanted to add on this scene with Latoria, Rowe, and Chloe?
Um, no. Latoria and Chloe, in my opinion, are the problem in this group, but you know, I don't think they'll ever admit it. So we
Yeah.
can move on.
Okay. So we're going to. I know that Ashley and Labrina had a little scene together. It was cute. They were talking about, the girl groups, how she feel. Um, they talked about, how Brad wants another baby. And, Dr. Ashley's like, listen, we got too much going on for a baby. And then Labrina says that Will wants another baby too. And I'm just like, y'all still young, get them in the babies and come on. Like it's not that big of a deal. But that was pretty much their conversation. And they did talk about, how Chloe is the common denominator. That was pretty much it. Miss Best, how'd you feel about their conversation?
I agree. She's the common denominator. I'm glad they're figuring it out. That's
Yep.
enough.
Good, good, good. So Manira goes over to her husband, one of her husband's projects. He's building up a townhome, and she wants to have a conversation because she didn't like that he wasn't, in full support of what she was trying to put together with her parents, and felt like as somebody who was also raised by his grandparents, that he should be more understanding to, support her, especially when she's in moments of, trying to keep things together and she can't do that. Now, here's my thing with Manira once again. I get where she's coming from. I'm not saying she's wrong. The problem is what I have with Manira is that because you're passive aggressive, I understand why he does what he does. I actually understand it because there's no other way to get to you when you're closed off, you're passive aggressive, and then you want to take control of the ship. There's no way for him to get through to you other than to say things and make snide comments because he knows that that's going to get under your skin where you have to come to them and then confront him because you know you're going to do so. So he does this intentionally, hoping that you will see that what you're doing is not productive. I actually saw exactly what he was trying to do. Now, is that a fair thing to do? No, absolutely not. The fair thing to do is if you see that she is closed off and you see that, she has these ways about her, you need to continue to call them out until she can see that she is aware of them herself. And she sees it. She just doesn't know any other way to be. That's just how it is. So, Manira, I want you to see counseling and therapy. I really do. I think that there's a lot of trauma with you. And I don't know. She could be going to therapy. I don't know. But it just seems like she is holding on dead steady on being passive aggressive and then taking out her frustrations out on people that I don't feel like deserve that. That's just how I feel. How did you feel about the scene with Minerva and her husband? Manira and her husband. Like, you want to call this lady Minerva?
I agree. She has a negative outlook, it seems, on everything. But there's obviously a lot of care. She just needs to get some therapy. I think her mama might have rubbed off on her a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way her mom is so, I think her mom's proud of her. I think her mom is, definitely commendable of taking the reins, but I do feel like her mom is angry that her life ended up the way that it did. And a lot of us get in that headspace. I'm not saying her mom is wrong for that. A lot of us get into a placement of anger when life happens oppositely of what we envisioned it to happen. And then there's the struggle, there's the, all the things that you have to build, working 2 and 3 jobs and everything. But the beauty of her mother's story is that your daughter married a man who seems to love her and she loves him. She has 3 beautiful children. She has a great career. So the sacrifices and the things that you had to do for your daughter to be where she is, give yourself credit, because a lot of the times that's not the story. Some of the time, I'm not gonna say a lot of times. Some of the time that's not the story. And usually we repeat those cycles. The same struggles our parents did, 9 out of 10, because that's what we saw and that was what was demonstrated us. We sometimes repeat them. Be happy your daughter broke the cycle. That's all I'm gonna say, is that be happy she broke the cycle. So, I totally see what you're saying. And I just hope the mom has some come to Jesus moment that, your daughter is just doing everything she can. She may not be, 100% sane, but she is on a better path. And she did the work and she's doing great with her life. Be proud of yourself for at least that. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying. I gotta go. I want some crab so bad. I really do. That's random, but every time I see the word Baltimore, I always think of crab. Um, Gabby Tibbety did play Precious and Jones. Yeah, she did. But we want to know who that comment, or who were they trying to correlate, that person playing that character. Who were they trying to correlate? Who was the person? Because it was one of Latoria's friends. They have not shown the friend. And then we keep hearing this comment being brought around as a major plot line of this season. And we don't know what it's supposed to be to. Like, that's all we're saying, because it's confusing. Even who said it is confusing. Question is, the makeup artist can't remember her name. Her name is Elena. Recently divorced, now friend, or no longer a cast member. No, she's still here. She still go here. She just ain't been in class lately. Jewel. That's the best way to put it to you. She's still here. She still go here. She just ain't been at school lately. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what her attendance policy is on over there. But she's supposed to be back next episode. And I don't know for how long or how many scenes, but she's supposed to be back next episode. All right. So let's see. Where else do we have? I'm just gonna go to. I know we had a little scene with Ro and Ashley. It was very cute. I'm glad that they were able to bond and get to know each other. The Pilates scene was cute, and they did bring up Chloe and the tension and confusion that Chloe brought to them, and how they're starting to put 2 and 2 together now, and even more information. Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about Chloe and Ashley scene before I move on to the couples event?
I don't care to comment on it. Not much happened.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the couples event then. So the couples event, we have all the cast members who are currently in a relationship. So that's pretty much everybody with the exception of Latoria, Ro, and of course Elena, who's not here. So the rest of the couples, they play a cute little game. She actually has a host to host them, so everyone can participate. They play little fun games of, what's the favorite color, who knew each other best, who apologizes first. Very cute questions. Loved it. Definitely from getting this, it does seem to be that Chloe and Jordan are in tune, and so are Ashley and her husband Brad. They seem to know each other very, very well. The other couples, they didn't struggle, but it was just seemed like there was some, eye rolls and blank stares, and I was laughing. After the game, Chloe, Manera, and Labrina decided to go sit at a table and, talk about what's been going on, and how, more so as they're talking about what's going on, they're bringing up Chloe, bringing back stories that are, to other people that are not correct. and seemed to be isolating herself out of any drama that she may be involved in. And Labrina says she has a problem with that. And she brings up the Precious comment, and she said that I was not the person who brought it up. And Chloe's like, well, then who brought it up then? And so Manira said, well, I said it. And everybody's looking at Manira like, what? Now, how you get in this? Now they play a bigger flashback, and they said that Manira asked who was the actress who played Precious. Chloe answers the question, and then that's how I'm assuming this started. But Chloe feels that Manira is taking the fall for Labrina because Labrina may have been more intentionally messy with her comment. Once again, we have you to blame for this and this confusion you're giving everybody. If y'all really did not have a storyline, then y'all need to hire better producers because this ended up being very fucking stupid at the end of the day. And I have blame on everybody. Everybody. I have blame for Labrina, Chloe, and Manira for one making this worse than what it actually ended up being. I'm more upset at Latoria for being upset about the comment and taking it uberly sensitive as if they're implying that her friend or even herself was that character, as if realistically that was the most negative thing they could have said about you. I'm mad at everybody collectively. I am. I'm mad at everybody because I feel like this was very fucking stupid. Chloe walks off because she can't take the heat. She gets mad and excuses herself. Her and Jordan leave. She gets in the car and calls Ro and becomes this whole victim of this circumstance. So my question to Mrs. Best is Chloe a victim? Is she right to be upset about this whole situation of them accusing her
I've
of being
already
messy?
said my piece on Chloe is not going to change based on the scenes. She's just showing what I've already been knowing she would eventually show. And she run when she can't, when she couldn't stand the heat, so she got the hell out the kitchen. But it was funny. She was calling Ro, and Ro just looked confused on the FaceTime. She just looked so confused on the FaceTime. Oh, no worries, Jewel. No worries. I get a lot of views for the replay, so no worries at all. But yeah, I'm not surprised by any of what Chloe is doing. I just think if you're going to be carrying information to people and then people confront you on it, then stand and be willing to face it. But she's just proven why she's dating a 25-year-old in her 40s. Because she herself probably still think like a 25-year-old.
Yeah. Now I have a question. Now that we are kind of unraveling different things, Manira having an involvement part in this whole thing, overall, are you frustrated that the situation was more of nothing, or do you think that this actually carried subsequent storyline for the show to move forward?
I don't care. I think like Manira bringing it up, that was weird. I don't know why she would do that. But these ladies have a storyline outside of something as stupid as Latoria's heavy friend being mad that somebody called her precious. What annoys me the most is that Latoria made a big thing about this shit and it's now like, I just want to move on. No, because when everybody else wanted to move on, you kept bringing the shit up. Now it's up so much that that's all that they could talk about. So in my opinion, the villains are Latoria and Chloe. But production, I agree with Keywan's comment. This is stupid. It doesn't keep me engaged. This is what I call low budget reality TV. When production does bullshit like this, roll the fucking clip and let us see what was said by who. Because right now it's looking like the only innocent people is Ro and Elena. Okay, right. Their names is Bennett and they ain't in it. But everybody else has been caught on camera saying something crazy or throwing themselves into the situation. Latoria is exactly, AB. You made a big fucking deal when everybody on the cast wanted to make peace with Labrina and get over it. Because at the end of the day, you arguing with something somebody said about somebody else. This wasn't even about you. It wasn't even about you. It's stupid. They need to roll the clip if there's no reunion. Because this is how you kill good shows. This is Absolutely. How you kill good shows. Exactly how. And I don't count on a bone collector to tell the truth and have integrity to clear it up. Manira, I don't know what the fuck Manera is doing. You need to focus on your mama and your daddy and all of that, because you are going a little too hard for Labrina, when if it don't got nothing to do with you, play like Ro and Elena and don't have nothing to do with it. So I'm just feel like Manera's putting herself into it, but Latoria and her old lady face is getting away with a lot, because they all tried to make peace with this in the first 2 episodes of the show, and Latoria would not let it die. Then she saw it's actually a problem, and now suddenly you want to act like you didn't make these comments and throw a fit. Like, no, that doesn't make sense, especially when the whole premise that Latoria explained for throwing that fit is because she's a loyal friend and all of that. So now you just gonna let it go? That friendship loyalty don't mean nothing? Like, her and Chloe are trash for that.
Absolutely. Because this was so unnecessary.
And I bet not hear this lady talk about that because her daddy died, she need grace. No, because grief and the shit that you go through is never an excuse to be messy. Exactly. And that's what it is. It's messy. It's messy. It's all stupid. I have some heavy set friends who people have talked about. They just be like, it is what it is. They let the shit roll off their skin. I'm sure it bothers them to a certain extent, but to do all of this over a comment such as Precious,
that wasn't even directed to you. I mean, I guess we could say, because Labrina said, "Oh, well, that's Precious. She's precious." But here's the thing: because we don't have the clear context of the video, because I don't want to fuck with us in our mindsets, I can't even be mad at Latoria for even saying that part of it, because once again, we don't have the clear context. And I do think that Chloe was the friend that told Latoria about the comment, making it more negative than what it was. I do believe she was the friend. And to me, that's what makes them both. They both were doing the same thing. Both were doing the same thing. But I feel like Latoria carrying this shit on was so fucking stupid. Such a waste of time. And like my good friend Keywan said, this is why we need a reunion. Because this show has potential. It's a good show. But I need the drama to be a little bit more centered and a little bit more severe than a little bitty ass comment about something that we don't even know if it was really directed to Latoria or her friend.
Listen, Family Empire Houston, I know the show is not coming back, but they did a really good job at showing themselves working in their field while also having like the personal drama. Ro just worked the World Cup or something. Elena does makeup for the celebrities. Latoria is supposed to be this great event planner. I would love to see them lean more into like what they do for a living as professionals than into foolish stuff like that. If there is going to be drama or something, let it be over something that's done to people on the cast who we can connect with, or at least try to take a side with, not about a comment made about a larger woman who we don't know, haven't seen on the screen. Like, let it be authentic. This beef is stupid. It's just stupid. The only thing it's doing is exposing in the group who's messy and who's not.
Which, to be fair, with the exception of Ro, all of them are messy. All of them. And maybe not Elena. I'll take Elena out of that.
Manera is messy and not the smartest. Okay, she proven why she's just nothing but more than an influencer. Because why are you throwing yourself in some shit that don't got nothing to do with you?
Right. Like, even if you did ask who the actress was, we don't know at what point you said that. So someone could have said Precious and be like, "Oh yeah, who was the actress that played her? What is her actual name?" See how that transpired? Very simple, very concise. You throwing yourself in that shit was stupid. This whole thing carrying on is stupid. It plays a valid point about Chloe. Absolutely, it does. But it's stupid. So, like my girl said, we need a reunion. I don't know who's over this show. I don't know who production is. I don't know. Listen, this is what you do.
Just don't hire Carlos King for the reunion. Please don't. Please don't. Because as quiet as it's kept, I don't think he's that good at hosting. He just gets away with interviewing people who are distraught because they edit.
Yeah.
Please do not.
I need a real host. Legit. Like, I need a real host. Like, and listen, I'm gonna say this: y'all need to get somebody. I don't care who it is. You know, if y'all want to please me as a content creator and reviewer and person who watches the show, you get Egypt Sherrod to host. and have all the girls sit in the circle and explain exactly what's going on because I'm lost and confused. But other than that, we'll see what happens next episode with Elena returning. Mrs. Best, are you excited for Elena to return?
No.
I don't know if I'm excited either, but I said it. She need to either show her ass or we need to X out her picture. One of the two need to happen because I'm not fit to sit up here with Elena wasting everybody's time. We are 7 episodes in. This lady only been in 2. So I need her to show up. But that's it, y'all. That was Heart and Hustle Houston. We got some clarity. We need a little bit more. But thank y'all for being here. Shout out to my replay game. Shout out to everybody in the live. Keywan style.
Elena's nice because whenever she's on camera, we see her working. But I just need her to interact with the group more. I don't dislike her.
I don't dislike her either, but I just
be here. Don't be here. Like I don't like that. Same with Rula over on RHORI. Like
I like Elaine. I love Elaine. She was my favorite actually last season, next to Ro. But what I'm gonna say is, I need her to stop trying to hide, and I need that husband shit to get addressed. I hope that's what she addressed in the next episode. I need that shit to get addressed because we just left that cliffhanger and never came back to it. So I'm praying that's what she addressed next episode. I need to see how Labrina gonna get her ass out of that one because that shit was wrong. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week for Heart and Hustle Houston. I thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. You guys, we will be live later today on Mrs. Best's channel for the Polygamist. You guys do not want to miss out. I believe it's going to be myself, Mrs. Best, and Keywan J, and maybe a slew of other people. So you guys don't want to miss that because that was one hell of a series that I finished in like 3 days. I'm triggered. I am going off on that live. We probably gonna have all separate opinions, but y'all don't want to miss it because it's gonna be one hell of a show. And I will see you guys later. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.